just wait a moment. I am opening man, too many ads. Yes, too many ads out here. Okay, so some of the questions we have no, some of the questions we have already discussed here. All right. We were yesterday. I asked some of you questions about television, influence about the young. Okay. We try Yuvraj, yes, Yuvraj, you say you would answer later. Is right, na? Some of what you got to na? La, your question here, Yuvraj. Can you say this clearly? Simple, sir. Question. Why do people like watching television? Maybe ela point one, point two, but at a bonus success. Such a lunch. So you break it up into point one, point two. Something like, I think there are various reasons why people watch television. And in my opinion, firstly, I believe they watch television. Blah, 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 blah. Furthermore, blah, 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 blah. Finished. Elaborate. So topic sentence, first point, elaborate, second point, elaborate. Remember, I'm reading a strategy, easy way to elaborate your answer. Okay, Yuraj, let's go. Okay, hang on there, Yuvraj. Just a moment. Answer to is to the way you're speaking, all right? Your answer should never be like this. तिमीले के गर्दैछौ बोल्दैछौ एउटा point सम्झिँदै point you're thinking, you're gathering points and then you're speaking. But the बिचमा there's a whole lot of breaks. अब एकदमै smooth पनि हुँदैन. As I told you, we are not looking for perfection. है एकदमै smooth पनि हुँदैन तर यस्तो disorganized पनि हुनु भएन. So when you speak immediately, you don't have to speak immediately. You could just take around 3 or 4 seconds or maximum 5 seconds to quickly think rather than to start right away. So you could say, well, okay, and then you could have actually got, you could have started your answer. The answer start, think about 2 points. Okay, ekdam lamo पनि पर्दैन. Just 2 simple points. So it's not about कस्तो brilliant points निकाल्छ भन्ने होइन. It's not about brilliance of ideas. It's just about how well you can speak. See, finally, at the end, what's being tested is how well you can speak. But like I'm writing task one, just it's not how well you can evaluate a graph or table or pie chart. Everybody can. त्यसलाई सिम्प्लिफाई गरेको चाहिँ सिम्पल वेमा लेखिन्छ without causing any confusion. स्पिकिङमा पनि त्यही हो. You want to speak without causing any confusion. Alright? So आन्सरलाई एकदम लामो हुनु पर्दैन. तिम्रो आन्सर अलिक लामो हुँदै जाँदैछ. Cut it short and keep it to two simple points. Alright, Yuvraj? Okay? Yuvraj? Alright. Okay, Trishla? How come you haven't turned on the video today? Trishla? Trishla? Go on, turn on the video.
Yes, sir.
Can't say where you
Yeah, I'm already done.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, Trishla. Let's look at question number 2. Now, imagine this question has been asked to you in the examination. Why is it important for people to have time for leisure activities? Leisure भन्नु सक्छ, okay, or leisure activity, as the British would say. So pronunciation can vary, but that doesn't matter. So why is it important for people to have time for leisure activities? Why? Okay, immediately think about two reasons. त्यसलाई एउटा एक एकवटा रिजनलाई एलाबोरेट गर्नु. Okay, Trishla, here we go.
I think it is important for people to have time for leisure activities because when people are tired from work, all this stress and everything, they need some time to cool them off and feel entertained. It's not always about into like doing stuff, sports stuffs or things like that. It's sometimes about just chilling, or writing journals, or just taking time for themselves. So I think it is important for people to know more about themselves, except for the stress and everything they might have in their daily routine.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it doesn't take too long to speak. All right, so in this case, your answer is somewhere around 20 seconds or maybe half a minute. All right, there is stretch in your answer. If you think you're running out of ideas, it's better to end it there. So that was a good answer. Okay, Trishla. Okay, you have mentioned about how people need more of their own time, okay, to relax, to chill out, to know more about themselves, to unwind. Okay, fine. Right, Vijay, would you like to try a question?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's try a question here. Number 3. To what extent do you think advertising affects the way people shop? To what extent do you think advertising or advertising, wherever you want to put the stress, depending on British or American accent,
As far as I'm concerned, advertising is one of the most popular ways of 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 showing the clothes are related like those. uh, it's one of the best idea for selling their products by advertising. Uh, through that the different kinds of product can be known by the people by seeing the holding boards which are hang on the poles of the electricity or wherever at the walls of the house. That's it, sir.
No, Vijay, you haven't addressed the question. Now, it's very important, eh? यसो पालि answer गऱ्यो भने चाहिँ you're not going to get good marks because you haven't addressed the question here. To what extent, to what degree do you think advertising affects the way people shop? So when we go shopping, okay, are we influenced by advertisements that we see wherever? Maybe as you mentioned, on the walls of houses, on electricity poles, okay, large hoarding boards, on television, on newspaper, not to forget, even on the internet.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
see, I'm displaying this. There are hundreds of advertisements everywhere, and in the corner here, they're everywhere, right? So the question is, to what extent advertisement affects people or influences people? Okay, to what degree? So you could say, oh, certainly to a very large degree, to some degree, to a certain extent. So you have to mention to what extent people are affected by advertisement. But you haven't addressed the question. You simply mentioned about advertisements accounts, a wall of houses and poles, electricity poles. So
Yes, sir.
you haven't addressed the question here. All right. So addressing the question is very important. All right, Pravin, you should try this. Number 3, same question.
What extent do as far as I'm concerned, advertisement advertising plays a vital role in manipulating human mind towards the particular good. Uh, Usually, advertising is done with a cheesy theme song and colorful banners that attracts people mind, and sometimes it is compared to a particular item and its benefits are mostly highlighted, so people are more attracted towards that particular good. Mm, and advertising is done in like various sectors. It can be found on YouTube, on television, or as in the streets, on the wall, which helps to get people attention and and attention
End it. Conclusion. You're running out of ideas, so
and makes their sales larger.
Praveen, instead
Yes.
of thinking of a new idea, if you think our ideas are China, put in a concluding sentence. So I think these are the various reasons why advertisement plays a very important role in influencing people.
No.
Conclusion. Okay. Try to break up the answer in point number 1 and 2. Something like, I think advertisement plays a very important role in influencing people, and that too to a very large extent. Firstly, when companies come up with new products without advertising it, the consumers wouldn't know about it. So advertisement is a very important tool to make the consumers, the targeted people, aware of products. So without advertisement, the consumers wouldn't know about it. So companies do advertise. Now, as for the people, the consumers, the people who go out shopping, once they know about a new product, they'll probably like to try those products, looking at the advertisement. So nowadays, a lot of advertisements include humor, and since a long time, advertisements have always been um, taking the help of celebrities. Celebrities endorse something, so celebrities are very large following. Okay, they're very large followers, and nowadays on the internet you've got the so-called influencers. Okay, they influence people by suggesting certain products, and all of these people, they do make money out of it, and their so-called followers, they will definitely try to try to buy that product and maybe use it for once. So I do think advertising plays a very important, something like that. But try to break our answer into maybe point 1 and point 2. Okay. Um, so Jangmu, hello Jangmu, Jangmu Sherpa, Jangmu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So where are you from? You said the Goma Chuvanela. So where are you?
I'm in Kumbu right now.
Oh, okay. All right. And the Kumbur the एकदम राम्रो छ भनेको सुनेको थिएँ नेटवर्कको.
No, sir. Like internet depends on weather मा depends
The
हुन्छ
weather.
अनि like पानीहरू पर्यो यताउति भयो भने फेरि
Yeah, yeah.
खत्तम हुन्छ.
खतम हुन्छ. अहिले पानी परेको छ कि छैन?
Yes, sir. बिहानदेखि नै.
Okay, Jamu, let me ask you just a simple question from part one. Describe your hometown.
Sorry?
Describe your hometown. Describe your
Hometown.
hometown. Yeah, that's
My hometown is in Solukhumbu,
Mhm.
also known as the Gateway of Everest, and it is like my actual hometown is located in between of Lukla, the Gateway of Everest, and also in between of Namche Bazaar. Namche Bazaar and the height, what do we say then?
Mhm.
And it's like snow-capped mountains, a pretty good environment, and people around here are like totally different from Kathmandu. And the lifestyle
Mhm.
are like pretty exciting, experiencing new thing. Since I don't come here a lot, but whenever I come here, there are like pretty good changes. And I guess that's it.
Okay, fine. Fine. Now, Jangmu,
Yes, sir.
you've been using, I think, right now, what I feel is you lack in confidence, all right? But what I feel is
Yes.
your fluency is very good, okay? The kind of words you use in terms of lexical resource, that's very good, okay? You've been
Yes.
using words precisely. You've talked about snow-capped mountains. You've talked about people's lifestyle. All right, so the words that you're using, it's very natural and it's been used very precisely. And in terms of your pronunciation, it's very clear. So all in all, the speaking is very good. Right, Jangmu? It's very good.
Thank you.
Clear. It's very easy to understand what you're trying to say. You go slow.
Yeah.
There's no mix-up. There's no confusion. Words are used precisely. So the more you practice, the better you're going to get. All right, Jangmu. So you've got
Okay, sir.
everything in there. In terms of speaking, you have everything that you need. But I think right now you lack in confidence at the moment, right? So speaking when
Yes,
once you
sir.
start speaking, things are going to get better. Right?
Yes, sir. I'll work in it.
Okay. Right now, well, let's discuss a few things, some of the things out here. Okay. So I'm going to discuss at the moment. I'm going to discuss. Hang on there. At the moment, what we're going to discuss is I'm going to look at let's think about body language. So I've been talking about body language. Now Altisma, let's look at it. 11 to 14 minutes. Examiner calls you. You go in there. Examiner says, you first tell the examiner, ask permission to get into the room. So you're going to say, may I come in? All right. May is always better than can, because may is about possibility. Okay, can is more about certainty. Something like, if given a chance, he can do it. He can do it. If given a chance, he could do it. So can when you say you're very certain, could when you say it's about possibility. So So me is more formal, more polite. So you're going to say, may I come in? The examiner will obviously say, yeah, yeah, please come and have a seat. You're going to say, thank you. Then it's seated. Examiner would like to take a look at a passport. Okay. Maybe would like to know your name. What should I call you? Or could you elaborate about your name? What does your name mean? Okay. And things like that. And of course, then they're going to start with task one. Sometimes they might say, so how are you feeling today? Okay. So that's a more formal question. The answer is going to be more formal again here. And then it starts. So we have part one, then the examiner will guide you to part two, and then finally you end with part three. All right. So speaking by Manigo, you're face to face with an examiner. And by the way, surprisingly, you find that you're pretty close to the examiner. So it all depends on the table. So if you're thinking of the table, it's not a large table, all right, that separates you and the examiner. It'll be a medium-sized working table where the examiner can keep his or her questionnaire, a watch, and a recording device. And there's a sheet of paper and pencil on the other side, the side of the table that you'll be facing the examiner. So surprisingly, you'll be kind of close to the examiner. So think of an average size table that you might, think of something like a table that you might come across in a restaurant, and a regular restaurant, right? एउटा मोमो पसलको just think of it, an average size table. So the oppositeमा जो बस्ने मान्छे हुन्छ, that's how close you're going to be to the examiner. All right. Now, a majority of your examiners could be native speakers. So now यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा सानो एउटा drawback चाहिँ के हुन्छ? It could be a drawback, it could be an advantage, it depends on you, is how often have you interacted with Nepalese, with native speakers? Not very often, you know? So when you have a native speaker, an Englishman or an English woman facing you, okay, they probably will have blonde hair, maybe not black, blonde hair, all right, even blonde eyebrows. The eyes may not be black, it could be either green or gray or blue. And maybe, though we have watched all of these things in movie, when you actually are face to face with a native speaker who's got this different physical features, all right, sometimes students are intimidated. Mane alikati nervous. So nervousness partly comes from the fact that it's your RT speaking. Okay, nervousness, you're nervous partly because you're facing a native speaker. If you are taking test from IDP, maybe you'll get an Indian speaker, or Nepali speaker. The nervousness is because of the accent. See, we are interacting in English. We're not actually interacting in English accent and a British accent, and you don't even have to do that. So initially, sabajana nervous. तर जहिले पनि examiner चाहिँ to make you comfortable, examiner will smile, will make you comfortable, and they go slow. Question जहिले पनि भन्दाखेरि natural pace मा जाँदैन, slow जान्छ, all right? They'd want you to understand the question because if very nervous, त्यो चाहिँ उनीहरूको drawback भयो, examiner को drawback भयो. The examiner makes you so nervous that the candidate is not able to speak. The examiner को negative point भयो. So the examiner will try to make you as comfortable as possible. Now that you're seated, all right, first as you enter, अब यहाँ चाहिँ के छ भने normally मैले classroom मा चाहिँ आफ्नो एउटा role playing गरेर मैले display गर्थेँ. अब यहाँनिर it's not possible to display, हैन? I would normally display classroom मा चाहिँ the body language of 3 candidates, okay? One candidate who appears to be in control of his emotions and is not very nervous. 2 other candidates who are extremely nervous. So when a candidate is very nervous, when you're nervous, to display it's kind of limited because it's online. But the point I'm trying to make here is for a majority of candidates, because now you're entering someone else's room for the for the timing to the examiner ko room ho ni ta, examiner ko territory ho. And the examiner is not coming to your house. You are actually going to the examiner. So the examiner ko territory हुँदा चाहिँ you're like an intruder. You're a new person. त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामी के गर्छौँ भने we try to be extra nice, extra sweet. Okay? And when you try to be extra nice, extra sweet, you appear to be too humble. You appear to be too servile. एउटा सर्भेन्ट जस्तो नि हजुरज्यू भनेको जस्तो पाराले टु सर्भाइल राइट द ओन्ली रिजन वाइ you're doing it is because you're trying to say, look, dear examiner, I'm such a sweet, harmless person. Could you please give me scores? You're basically body language, you're begging for scores. Are bhaiya, scores they do kind of thing. You're basically begging for scores. All right? And that's not going to fetch you scores. Please remember. Begging for scores. अब यहाँ begging भन्नाले trying to be extra sweet in order to get scores will never fetch your scores. You've got to earn your scores. So how do we behave? कुरो त्यहाँ आयो हैन? So when you go in there, you don't have to be super nice. Neither are you going to be rude. Okay? So when you're seated, examiner will say, please have a seat. Okay, please be seated. When you're seated, you will sit down right back. अनि chair चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ normally यस्तो armrest भएको chair हुँदैन. I'm using an armrest at the moment. Okay, like if you look at my chair, okay, so it's got this armrest. So normally you rest हुँदैन. You don't have this armrest. Okay, so we'll probably get a working chair, a simple chair, straight back chair, a working chair. So I'm going a little back. All right, so you'll probably get a straight back chair and armrest for you, okay? Now the question is, how will you be seated? So you go right back, supported back. Hey, edge ma jane ni. Let me show you further. Okay, hang on there, observe me. Okay. Okay. Now suppose examiner says, please have a seat. All right. Now, let's say I'm seated like this. Now, as I sit down, okay, as I'm seated, normally candidates who try to pretend to be good, they go right on the edge. Means examiner candidate को chair के एउटा level हुन्छ है, एउटा level हुन्छ. राजाको दरबारमा पो राजा माथि टोलमा बसेर माथिबाट प्रजाहरूलाई यसो ओह्रालो हेर्छ. हैन? राजाको जहिले माथि हुन्छ नि, it's a sign of authority. Okay, they're much higher on the stage, so going to look down. So it's a sign of authority. यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा लेभलको चेयर हुन्छ. But when you're very nervous, you try to pretend to be good. Normally के गर्छौँ हामीले? We go right on the edge of the chair. यसो गरेर we bend down. So when you bend down, your eyes are much lower. See, my eyes are much lower to that of Yunus अधिकारी, of Vijay. उनीहरूले माथिबाट यसो मलाई ओह्रालो हेरिरहेको छ है. So म चाहिँ उकालो हेरिरहेको छु. Meriaka kind of thing. All right. So in other words, I'm trying to be as submissive as possible. That's not what you're going to do. So you go right back, and of course, you know what I'm saying. You're going to fold a hand. See how I'm going to fold. Clasp a hand, turn it over, put it on your lap. If you don't clasp a hand, हात कसरी राख्ने? तिम्रो हात एकदम धेरै चल्छ के. So when you're nervous, हात चलेको थाहा. यो अप्पर लिम्ब एकदम चल्छ अनि लोअर लिम्ब खुट्टा पनि यसो चलिरहेको हुन्छ घरि यता उता चलिरहेको हुन्छ. You want to put your feet firmly on the ground, clasp your hand, turn it. अब यति त डेस्क भयो है, यतिसम्म त डेस्कै छ. So you're more like a passport photograph. तल त देख्दैन, but it'll make you feel more confident. So clasp your hand, sit like this. Okay? Never cross a leg. Never ever cross a leg. Okay? Leg la cross गर्ने हैन. You just go to place it firmly on the ground. You know, like ladies they cross the leg or तलपट्टि खुट्टा यसो cross गरेर बस्छ. That'll make you more negative. र bodyको आफ्नो positionले it's going to influence you, and your mental attitude it's going to influence the body position. So we want to take up a body position that makes you more positive, right? So you want to put your feet firmly on the ground, clasp your hand, and straight. Straight when एकदम stiff होइन. Your shoulders are stiff राख्ने. lower it a little, more relaxed. So at this way, your position मा चाहिँ you appear to be relaxed, but at the same time you appear to be alert, right? So your position. Now the next thing is, as you're speaking, if you have the habit of moving your hand, all right, just a moment. Suju, Suju, के मगाएको थियो?
यो अब चामल एकछिनमा लिएर आउँछ नि चामललाई यो
Hang on there. दाल चामल आउँदैछ पसलबाट. So if you have the habit of moving your hand, move it, no problem, right? Move your hand. So हुन्छ नि, I do have the habit of moving my hand very regularly. Okay, so try moving my hand. Like you want to express yourself, you can express yourself, right? So these are some of the things you try to do. So let me come up close again. Okay. Okay, so let's get back. So as you're speaking, you move your hand. अब body language अर्को कुरो आउँछ है, eye contact. अब body language भन्ने कुरो तिमीहरूलाई पनि थाहा छ. Body language basically यसको right term हो non-verbal communication. Hey? Now, let me tell you, and I'm sure you know all about this thing. Body language basically how we communicate with each other. So on the internet, netma गएर if you type body language, yeah, non-verbal communication, mind you, you'll come across the more romantic kind body language. How to impress a woman in 5 minutes flat. How to impress a man in 15 minutes. No, that's what you come across body language when you see. All right, that's not body language. This is basically more about romance. You know? Nothing much. It's basically trying to create an impression with the opposite gender. When you see. But if you were to scroll carefully, this manner how to impress a man or a woman भन्ने हुन्छ. Scroll गर्दै जाँदाखेरि you come across some serious material, proper research गरेको non-verbal communication भन्ने हुन्छ. So non-verbal communication ma, it's a series of actions. So when you watch these videos about trying to impress a man or a woman, they're very misleading. They're very misleading. Why they're misleading is, for instance, this my video ma example के दिएको हुन्छ. For example, someone is speaking, okay, कसैलाई यसो नाक कोटाए यसो गऱ्यो भने यसो नाक कोटाए यसो काम चलायो. Oh, this person is lying. That person is lying. नाक यसो गऱ्यो कि that person is lying. यसो के झारेको जस्तो गर्दा that person is lying. But what body language is? Body language को expression के हुन्छ? You cannot decode what a person is thinking, but just one action. नाक छुयो या के झारेको जस्तो गर्यो. Okay, that means something भनेर हुँदैन. What experts will tell you is there's going to be a series of actions. एउटा action मात्र हैन, several actions हुन्छ, along with the right tone of voice, and that's body language. And it's very helpful actually. Body language भनेको आर्टिस्टमा मात्र हैन, later on when you go for job interviews or job interviewमा जाँदाखेरि, there's a saying the job interviewमा, it's not what you know, but it's about whether the boss who's taking the interview, whether he or she likes you or not. So a lot of people are hired not simply on the basis of what they know, but they are hired because the hiring person likes them. Please remember this. This is the secret of job interview, actually. Or the सिकिहाल्छ नि. If the person think, oh, she's a nice person, he's a nice person, should be hired भन्ने जस्तो लाग्यो भने ए अरू कुरो त जबमा सिकिहाल्छ नि, on the job भन्ने हुन्छ. है. So a lot of times job interviewमा it's not about what you know, but whether you know the interviewer likes you or not. All right. So anyway, yeah, Altisma, like a job interview, it's kind of limited. So you come in, okay, examiner says, please have a seat. You're seated. If the examiner fails to say have a seat, please don't sit down. Eh? Don't say, can I have a seat? The examiner will definitely tell you, have a seat. Please sit down. You always say thank you, and then you're seated. Now, why do we need to do these things? In the IELTS speaking, you're there face to face with the examiner. Examiner, you are here. TOEFL, there's no video. Okay, computer recorded huncha. त्यो program you speak TOEFL. So TOEFL you could be lying on the floor. ओके कान यसो कोट्याउँदा बोले पनि भयो देयर इज नो भिडियो नाक कोट्याउँदा बोले पनि भइहाल्यो ठिक छ खुट्टा कहाँ राखेर आफै सुतेर ए यो पाराको एकदम रिल्याक्स वेमा बोल्दा पनि नट किनभने टोफलमा सी एज आई सेड देयर इज नो भिडियो ओके देयर इज नो ह्युमन इन्टरेक्सन त्यो आर्टिस्टमै ह्युमन इन्टरेक्सन हुन्छ सो आर्टिस्टको जुन चाहिँ स्पिकिङ छ नि इट कम्स इन अ प्याकेज भनेको के भने 11 to 14 minutes स्पिकिङ हो तर बिफोर यु स्टार्ट स्पिकिङ as you enter you say may I come in have a seat examiner says can I have a look at a passport can you tell me more about your name then the examiner will introduce person then the examiner says all right we'll go through part 1 more than 1 minute goes by so only someone speaking start by more than 1 minute goes by and we as humans we are very judgmental it hardly takes us more than half a minute to judge people so you immediately look at the examiner you say oh okay examiner nice nicha as examiner you feel good about it all right examiner कोही examiner चाहिँ एकदम यसो गरेर ऊ कलेज हेरेर oh I'm going to have a hard time you decide immediately so you want to do all the right things all right to let the examiner know that you're not being too humble you're not being too rude all right so these are things you'd like to do now you're seated अब स्पिकिङमा बोल्दाखेरि चाहिँ you know there's something called eye contact तिमीहरूले थाहै छ body language ma it says maintain eye contact it's very hard eye contact in the examination if you try to maintain eye contact you'll get very nervous okay and eye contact makes us very nervous look at me maintain eye contact makes you very nervous अहिले त हुँदैन maybe not है अहिले त अब it won't make you nervous तर कोही नयाँ मान्छेसँग बोल्दाखेरि eye contactमा makes you very nervous र एक्जामिनरसँग चाहिँ अब हुन्छ नि राम्रो स्पिकिङको लागि मेन्टेन आई कन्ट्याक्ट भनेर भन्छ होइन सो हाउ डु वी मेन्टेन आई कन्ट्याक्ट धेरै मेन्टेन गऱ्यो भने यु गेट नर्भस एक त खैरेहरूको निलो आँखा ग्रिन आई हामी सायद त्यति देखेको हुँदैन यसो कस्तो निलो आँखा रहेछ भने कस्तो ग्रिन आई रहेछ बिरालो बिरालो टाइपको भने एन्ड देन यु लुजिङ फोकस राइट एन्ड सो वाट डु वी डु हाउ डु वी मेन्टेन आई कन्ट्याक्ट is don't look at the eyes look at the ear that's how we maintain eye contact यहाँ बीचमा हेर्ने हैन look at one of the ears ear मा हेर्दाखेरि the other person wouldn't know okay अर्को मान्छेलाई चाहिँ आँखामै हेरेको जस्तो लाग्छ so look at the ear त यो हैन कि okay कान चाहिँ हेरिरहने हैन नि फेरि एक कोरो त कान चाहिँ सुगेर हेरिरहने the other person will get nervous oh that's very creepy this person is really staring me down it's more like a staring contest. All right, so you don't want to sound or look very creepy. So look at the air from time to time. So that's how you maintain eye contact. Next, I have body language. Ma, smile whenever. Smile. Smile is the shortest distance between two strangers. गाडी में दुईजना stranger opposite छ सफा टेम्पो में opposite में एकजना अर्को नीचे आछ you feel more comfortable. But of course that doesn't happen. Hey, if you have traveled by suffer tempo थाहा छ केटीहरूले के गर्छ हातमा मोबाइल निकालिहाल्छ कि त यसो छड्केपछि बाहिर झ्यालमा हेर्ने कि त यतापट्टि हेर्ने बिकज राइट इन फ्रन्ट द्याट पिपल एन्ड इट सडनली कुड मेक यु नर्भस जस्ट अ मोमेन्ट एकैछिन है म यहाँ स्टफहरू ल्याउँदैछु अलि यहाँ कुरा हुँदै गर्छ दाल चामल इत्यादि प्रोभिजन्सहरू ल्याउँदैछ ओके अलराइट सो कुरो चाहिँ के भने आई कन्ट्याक्ट द्याट्स वाट यु डु एज फर स्माइल अलराइट इफ यु स्माइल नेचुरली द्याट्स गुड बट डोन्ट ट्राई टु फेक ए स्माइल सो सपोज तिमीले अब त्यो बडी ल्याङ्ग्वेजको विषयमा यु थर्ड अबाउट स्माइल एन्ड नाउ यु टकिङ अबाउट द होम टाउन सो इट गोज लाइक दिस right you say oh my hometown is Solukhumbu I'm basically from Khumbu it's a beautiful place it's called the gateway of Everest you're serious है अनुहार यस्तो हुन्छ एकदम सिरियस हुन्छ एक्चुअली आन्सर गर्नु I'm from Solukhumbu it's called the gateway of Everest it's a very cool place यस्तो हुन्छ है अनुहार by the way because you're thinking hard okay that's what the examiner when the examiner looks at you probably and your eyes are moving probably left to right It's going up, left, right, or it's going sideways. Very few people who look down. When people look down, they're thinking in terms of emotion. That's called the kinesthetic people. When people look towards the right hand corner, left hand corner of the eyes, mati here, sir, okay, they're more visual. They're thinking of the area. When people look sideways, they're auditory. Oh, that's how we classify people. But anyway, we don't need to go into that. Then all of a sudden you're saying, okay, my hometown is in Solukhumbu. It's a very nice place, but it's a very cold place. Then all of a sudden you think, oh, I'm supposed to smile. Okay, and the people are nice there. And again, very serious. So people are very nice. They're not like what you find in Kathmandu, very nice people. Very serious. It won't look good, fake ones. So if you smile natural, it's all right, but don't fake yourself. So what I'm trying to say is be yourself, okay? Be yourself, and that's the best thing you can do. So don't pretend to be someone else, okay? So body language, as you can see, it's very limited. Now, at the end, our exam to interview the examiner would say, well, thank you very much for your time. Your test is over. Normally, thank you very much for your time. Your test is over. So what you do, you're going to get up smartly. You will say, thank you very much for your time. Everybody says that. Okay, thank you for your time, Vanessa. But then besides it, maybe you can add something more. You could say, have a good day. Good morning, good afternoon. The paila bani sakyo. Right? So very good afternoon, good morning, and vandana before you leave. So you could say, have a good day. All right. So the examiner will say, oh, that's something nice. But it's agadi dekhinkai, the way you enter, the end ma depart gardakeri sama, it comes in a package because besides speaking, you're there face to face. A body language mata evaluate gardaina. They're not saying body language kosto ramro. So the evaluation criteria is not there, but it's only secondary. But you want to make sure that you do it well. So at the end, thank you very much. Have a good day, and then you walk out smartly. Okay? And you doga bairo gore if you want to faint, then you bunga lord no problem. All right. Now the thing is, you're done with speaking. Suppose exam सक्यो पुरा टाउको घुमिरहेको छ अलराइट गङ्गा ओके गङ्गा टाउको चाहिँ घुमिरहेको हुन्छ नभए मैले कस्तो गरेँ होला आफैलाई थाहा छैन है आफैलाई थाहा छैन अब आफ्नो स्पिकिङ एकैछिन है ढोका खोल्नु ओके सो आफ्नो टाउको घुमिरहेको छ अब कस्तो गरेर यु डोन्ट नो हुन्छ नि जस्तै इमिडिएटली कहीँ केही एक्सिडेन्ट भयो केही इमर्जेन्सी भयो मान्छेहरू एकछिन फ्रिज हुन्छ नि इट टेक्स पिपल टु थिङ्क वाट ह्यापन देयर सपोज समन फल डाउन गाडी ठोक्यो बाइक लड्यो है मान्छेहरू इमिडिएटली रियाक्ट गर्दैन इट टेक्स टाइम फर अस टु रेजिस्टर नि ब्रेनले अलिकति नयाँ कुरोलाई रेजिस्टर गर्नु टाइम लाग्छ नि त्यस्तै हो स्पिकिङमा पनि है इट टेक्स टाइम फर अस टु रेजिस्टर वाट रियली हाउ आई रियली डिड इन स्पिकिङ त्यो इभ्यालुएट गर्नु एकछिन सोच्यो भयो Hey, and then you're traveling home, after two-wheeler, yeah, public transport ma ghar puग्यो कस्तो गरे and then घरमा इभिनिङमा राम्ररी बसेर सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ नर्मली के हुन्छ फिलिङ टास्क 1 राम्रै भयो टास्क 2 राम्रो टास्क 3 को त्यो क्वेसन त नि त्यो क्वेसन थियो you know that was about the opinion I could have done much better but speaking test त भइसक्यो Right? What will you do? I could have done much better. So normally your feeling is part 3 ko jun question huncha okay that's आफ्नो opinion भन्ने it's a little complex that's where people generally feel they could have done much better right so that will be your feeling in speaking all right I'm talking in general but remember speaking when good it's not all that bad okay it's going to be fine speaking त्यति नराम्रो होइन it's a nice thing speaking okay so that's about it speaking body language भनेको एकदम लिमिटेड छ हैन एकचोटि बसेपछि हुन्छ नि अब body language there are so many things especially for lecturers cover the stage look into the eye of the audience भनेर the eye movement को नयाँ research simply shows that when you look into the eyes of your audience okay it only helps if the audience knows what you're talking about. If they know beforehand what's the topic of your speech, maintaining eye contact helps it. If it's a new topic that the audience is not aware of, it doesn't help it. All right, so research भन्ने कुरा भइनरहेको हुन्छ sometimes they will say ए यो कुरा ठिक छ भने फेरि अर्को रिसर्च आउँछ ए त्यो त होइन अरे है द्याट्स नट राइट अरे भन्ने हुन्छ फेरि अर्को कुरा हुन्छ सो इट किप्स अन चेन्जिङ राइट सो आई कन्ट्याक्ट कानमा हेर्ने हातको मुभमेन्ट यु सुड मुभ यर ह्यान्ड यु सुड अलवेज बी सिटेड ब्याक राइट डोन्ट ट्राई टु प्लिड डोन्ट ट्राई टु बी भेरी सुपर नाइस डोन्ट ट्राई टु प्लिड फर इन्स्टेन्स पहिला पस्दाखेरि हुन्छ नि समथिङ लाइक a candidate who is very nervous will do like this. Dhaka hai dhoka. Yeah, dhoka to khulla huncha. So the candidate will say, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, may I come in, ma'am?" Nodding of the head. Oh yeah, please come and have a seat. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so you're trying to be too sweet. It doesn't fetch your scores. You don't have to be rude. Be yourself. Something like, "May I come in, sir? May I come in, ma'am?" Oh yes, please come in, have a seat. Thank you. Be seated. So that's how you have to do in speaking. In speaking, but speaking, we all need fluency. Right? So once you're fluent in English, you'll be much better. So always practice of fluency. Of fluency practice, there are several challenges. Well, Kathmandu is opened up a lot. Our lockdown, but then we know the cases are still very high. It's not that infection rate got here as well. But people are still getting infected. People are still dying. So you want to play safe. So in that case, I'm certain you're not going out very often. All right. I'm certain you're taking precautions. So if you're not going out very often, that means you're confined to your room, and there's hardly any place where you can practice the English. So a few things you could do is reading aloud. Okay, anything that you're reading, you're practicing for reading, or you're reading a newspaper or a story, you can always read it aloud. Practice the pronunciation, and most importantly, try to record your voice. Okay, first one, a lot of people, they don't like the voice when they're recording. Do I sound like this? I thought I sounded differently. I thought I sound really different. But is this what I sound like? All right. So generally, that's what people feel. But with more, if you start recording more, you'll get used to it. All right. So please record your voice and get more practice. Can you speaking banega? But they know. The more you speak, the better you get. Okay. So that as a whole is about speaking. All right. So part 1, part 2, part 3. Remember this. Don't forget to watch the video on YouTube from the Cambridge official book. So to students whom I've already sent the Cambridge official book, take a good look at it. All right. It is, in fact, the best preparatory material. The book help. So book the Cambridge official guide, you take all the tips. Or the practice IELTS ko jun book cha ni 7 and 8 pathaye, I'll be sending you more from 1 to 9 pathaye dinchu, and then later on 10 and 15. Okay, tyaबाट practice गर्नु. त्यो बाहेक अरु धेरै वेबसाइटहरु, YouTube videos you don't have to look into all this. Right? Well, what else? Ganda?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kaisa, questions you? As you can, your video is not on.
Internet is quite unstable, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm out of Kathmandu Valley, out of Dading and out of Kathmandu.
I see.
At my maternal home.
Are you on a personal trip or is it an official trip?
Sorry, sir?
Personal ke official trip?
Personal, maternal home.
Sorry?
Mighty, sir, mighty.
Oh, okay. all right. Okay. Oh, there's one more thing. Now, just watch me. I'll teach you a very simple exercise. Everybody watch me. Now, have you noticed? कुनै दिन यस्तो हुन्छ, when you speak English or when you write, especially speaking ma, there are days when you speak naturally. त्यसै आइरहेको हुन्छ खररररर English आएर. But there are again days where you're lost for words. भनेपछि हाम्रो कन्सिस्टेन्सी भएन. कहिलेकाहीँ मजाले बोलिन्छ नेचुरल बोलिरहेको कहिलेकाहीँ वर्डै हुँदैन. एन्ड स्पेसली आर्टिस्ट क्लास जस्तै यो क्लास भइरहेको छ, इन पर्सन क्लास भइरहेको बेला त्यति बेला शब्दै हुँदैन. साथीहरूसँग त मजाले बोलिन्छ. गर्दाखेरि नाउ टेस्टमा जाँदाखेरि द चान्सेस आर फेरि यु नो त्यो खैरा देखेपछि नेटिभ स्पिकर देखेपछि आफै पनि अलिक नर्भस भएर त्यो बोली त्यति नहोला कि त्यो स्मुथनेस नहोला कि फ्लुएन्सी नहोला कि इट डज ह्यापन है इट डज ह्यापन राइट सो डिपेन्डिङ अन द सिचुएसन द पर्सन यु इन्टरेक्टिङ विथ समटाइम्स मजाले बोलिरहेको हुन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ त्यति बोलिन फुट्दैन लेख्दाखेरि पनि थियो कहिलेकाहीँ हामीले लेख्दाखेरि एसे या टास्क पनि लेख्दा खरर लेखिन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ यु सफर फ्रम राइटर्स ब्लक भनेको यु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द टपिक बट यु जस्ट कान्ट गेट स्टार्टेड हुन्छ द्याट ह्यापन्स सो हियर इज अ भेरी सिम्पल एक्सर्साइज टु हेल्प यु टु रिल्याक्स यर टङ हामीले जहिले पनि बोल्दाखेरि वेन यु वी स्पिक विथ द मुभमेन्ट अफ अ लिप्स अब कसरी लिपलाई आ उ होइन लिपको मुभमेन्ट थ्रु अ सेट अफ भोकल कॉर्ड्स हाम्रो ट्र्याकिया यहाँ larynx sorry the right term is larynx isn't it science ma padeko the so called voice box vocal cords त्यहाँबाट बोलिन्छ and mostly tongue all right so बोल्दाखेरि चाहिँ when you think बोली त्यति फुटेन बोल्नै सकेन नर्भस भयो भने there's a saying in English त्यसलाई फ्रेजलाई भन्छ I was tongue tied भन्ने अब जिब्रै हल्लेन भने चाहिँ कसरी वर्ड निस्किन्छ Now when you're so nervous you're tongue tied so what can you do about this there's an exercise you should all try this is what you're going to do you're going to stick out your tongue okay that might look rude but it's just an exercise remember okay so what you're going to do is stick out your tongue as much as possible and you're going to count quickly till 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 Firi, take it in withdraw your tongue count to 5 1 2 3 4 5 not too fast not too slow the seconds जुन चाहिँ हुन्छ सेकेन्डको भन्दा अलिक चाँडो 1 2 3 4 5 फेरि stick it out you do it thrice okay 3 पल्ट त्यो गर्ने stick out the tongue withdraw it 5 फिर stick it out do it thrice then you'll be more aware about your tongue we're not aware about your tongue but tongue is such an important component it's such an important organ through which we speak any language अंग्रेजी any language
Excuse me, sir.
yes Jangmo
Are we supposed to do that in front of examiner?
oh no not that you are this is an exercise for you that you do it in the privacy of your home okay not in front of the examiner says how are you you say okay ekkachine examiner sir ekkachine no Jangmo what I'm trying to say is you will do it in the privacy of your home anytime जब speaking practice गर्दाखेरि हैन and let's say you're just about to speak especially English is a foreign language right you may be comfortable but you want to speak much better you want to make sure that your tongue is more relaxed and you're aware about this so this helps you to relax your tongue it helps you to be aware about your tongue okay next thing is एउटा त्यो तीनवटा भयो हैन the next thing is you're going to curl your tongue upward the tongue लाई चाहिँ यस्तो घुमाउने relax here curl it you do it a simple exercise these are two simple exercises that'll make you much aware about your tongue your movement okay curl your tongue everybody try that you don't and just quickly count till 10. Do it thrice. You'll be more aware. Jibro goleko jasto लाग्छ, you'll be more aware about it. This is awareness, and it helps you to relax the tongue. And that probably might help you in proper speaking. All right, so you should do this exercise. Bibucha? Is Bibucha here? Or has she left? So these are some of the things you can always do. Okay, simple एउटा tongue stick out गर्ने, एउटा curl गर्ने. That really helps you to relax. अनि जहिले पनि speakingमा you want to make sure that you relax. हामी nervous हुँदाखेरि there's a lot of nervous tension here on the shoulder. Nervous tension यहाँ हुन्छ, यहाँ the back मा हुन्छ, okay, the spine of the neck, yeah, the lower back, यहाँनिर. So that puts a lot of tension. So when you're nervous, यहाँनिर यो पार्टमा एकदम धेरै tension हुन्छ. So speakingमा if you're feeling very nervous, you should just breathe out. Just breathe out, relax. Okay, relax in this part. You'll feel more relaxed. When you're more relaxed, you can think better, you can speak better. As simple as that. The more nervous you are, your brain will be clogged basically, like a drain, and you'll not be able to speak. So it's more about getting relaxed. So I think that's about your speaking. Okay, so any questions? कसैबाट केही छ क्वेशन्सहरू? प्रवीण, युनेश, विजय, युवराज?
No, sir.
Question?
No.
Sir,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yes.
So how do I gain the confidence?
Well, there's only one way to gain confidence, Jangmu, and that's to speak. Do you have any friends at your hometown with whom you can actually practice speaking?
No, sir. I
That's
don't
where
have
the
any
problem
friends here.
अहिले problem त्यही होइन? अब स्कुलमा कलेजमा हो भने you might have friends with whom you would generally speak in English, if not very regularly, okay, sometimes.
Yes, sir.
In the hometown or अहिलेको यस्तो situationमा where people are hardly venturing out, it's very hard to get friends. So the best thing is, okay, Jangmo, do you have any sort of, let's say on the net, do you have any sort of friends, acquaintances, or native speakers? कोही do you
Yes, sir. I do have my friends.
Uh-huh.
Not my friend, but my father's friend.
Okay.
And then like we used to speak. But it was like I don't get that kind of nervousness when I speak to him.
No, what about his nationality? Kanko.
He's American.
Oh, okay. So get more practice. Just speak to him. You don't have to be nervous. Just practice the English because you already have a native speaker. All right.
Yes, sir.
So, but then, of course, you're going to find a time that's convenient for him. Okay, a convenient time for him could be inconvenient for you. It could be late night for you.